Adventure. It's a really strange word. Just try to explain what an adventure is. For me, it's seeking an uncertain situation to come out in a more favorable situation, or an unusual and exciting or daring experience. This is what the dictionary said. But maybe the best definition of an adventure is a game. Uncharted. For example, the newest game in the series, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. After Uncharted 4, it was clear that the main character, Nathan Drake, was retired. But the adventure was not over, so two side characters of previous games took the top spot this time. Nadine Ross, an ex-head of a security organization, and Chloe Fraser, who is more or less a treasure hunter. Chloe hired Nadine to help looking for the Tooth of Ganesh, an ancient and valuable Hindu artifact. From the beginning, it got clear that Chloe is not the only one looking for the tooth. So is Asaf, who is the leader of a revolt movement in India. And Asaf didn't hire a mercenary. He hired a whole army to assist him. And how do you get past this army? Well, the same way as Nathan did in the other Uncharted games, by shooting, climbing and jumping. And like the other Uncharted games, you find treasure on your way to solve giant puzzles. These puzzles usually contain out of a huge ancient structure that should be moved in such a way that a mechanism will open a door. These areas are one of the highlights of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, because they are beautiful designed and you would think that they are based on real temples. They seem that realistic. Beautiful and realistic. Maybe this is a good way to describe the graphics of this game. It doesn't matter if you're in a dense jungle, in a dark slum, or inside a temple. It all looks fantastic. Not just the surroundings are done great, also the animations are almost lifelike. The way you jump, run, climb, fight, it's all done to perfection. I'm sure that everything is motion captured with real actors, but you can just see that there is a lot of effort put into this. And then the sounds. In particular, the voice acting is done phenomenal. I actually think that this is the best voice acted game to date. The voices are believable and fit the characters. Also the emotions are played great. The game is often very serious, but there's always a funny or sarcastic line that catches you off guard and makes it all a tiny bit lighter. Oh, and this is one of the few game series that has really good subtitles as well. I deliberately turned them on in my native language because the translation was done so great. Sometimes the jokes in the subtitles were better than the original English lines. The story plays out very naturally and is focused mostly on the characters, their motivations and the demons rather than the artifact and the power of it. This is the right focus, I think, because the core of the story is not very ambitious. Maybe this is actually a good thing. The artifact doesn't even have a great power or mythical value. The only value it has is monetary. Asaf wants it to sell it and buy weapons from it. And Chloe wants it, well, to get rich. This is not a motivation you see often in a game, but it makes the whole thing more realistic, and in a way it is refreshing. This is what treasure hunters do, they sell what they find. Along the way you start to realize it. Chloe is not a real hero and her morals are questionable. She doesn't have a problem with destroying ancient buildings to get her goal, and is very honest with this as well. Nadine even asks her about it. Nadine is another story. She seems to be a straight arrow, but you know that she used to be a ruthless mercenary. Her only motivation is to get her organization back. All in all, these details make the story worth it, and it makes it stand out from a generic game story like in a game like Tomb Raider. Talking about Tomb Raider, this might be this game series that is the most similar to the Uncharted series, and this installment in particular might sometimes seem to outright copy elements from Lara Croft adventures. Not just the fact that it has a main female protagonist, but there's also a huge open world level in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, just like in Tomb Raider. Unfortunately, this is the least interesting level, with a very annoying puzzle and clumsy stealth encounters. I strongly prefer the old-fashioned straightforward levels, which is a pity. The idea was good. But maybe this is also the weakest point of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. The gameplay. This is the 6th installment of the series and the gameplay never really evolved. The same basic idea of climbing and shooting from cover never really changed. For what it's worth, the great set pieces, driving sections, cutscenes and mostly enjoyable puzzles make the potentially repetitive gameplay fun. But when the sections are more traditional, the momentum of the game tends to get lost. Usually an Uncharted game loses its momentum halfway through, to pick it up in the last few levels. But strangely enough, in The Lost Legacy, it seems that the end and the beginning are the weaker sections. When the adventure concluded, it just seems the right length. There was even a bit of space to make a sequel, but I don't think that will happen. There's no doubt about it. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is a must-have for the PS4. It's not as long and epic as Uncharted 4, but it's still a very enjoyable experience. The graphics, storytelling and variation make the time fly by, and in no time you're in the end. And you'll feel like eating pizza. A true adventure. So, I would recommend this game if you feel like going on an adventure without leaving the house. And if you don't mind the experience to get slightly repetitive at times. This game is awesome. So, this was my review of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. It was long overdue. Did you play it too? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments below and like, subscribe and share. Bye bye!